My name is Emily Carter. I'm 32 years old, and until last week, I believed my family, broken as it was, would never stoop low enough to erase me completely. The call came at 7:03 p.m., just as I was plating dinner for my 8-year-old son. The number was unknown, but something in my gut told me to pick up. "Emily Carter?" A voice asked, laced with false cheer. "This is Stephanie, the wedding planner for Daniel Carter and Rachel Hughes." My heart skipped. Daniel, my only brother, was getting married next month. I hadn't heard much about the plans, but I assumed my invitation was in the mail. "Yes? Is everything okay?" There was a pause. A cruel pause. "I'm calling to confirm that your family has canceled your invitation to the wedding. They also asked me to let you know the deposit you gave, the $50,000 check, will not be refunded." Their exact words were, "She'll understand why." My fingers went numb.
What?
There must be a mistake. I paid the deposit as a gift to Daniel. Why would they? "I'm just relaying what they told me," she interrupted sharply. "They said not to contact them." And then the line went dead. I stood frozen, clutching the phone like it could still connect me to the family I thought I had. My son tugged at my sleeve, asking if dinner was ready. I forced a smile through tears, because how could I explain that my own blood had just cut me out of their lives like an unwanted stain? The betrayal burned hotter with every passing second. I had been the one who stepped up when our parents neglected us. I raised Daniel after Mom disappeared into her pills and Dad into his whiskey. I worked 2 jobs, sold my car, and even drained my savings to help him through college. And this is how he repaid me? I dialed my parents first. Straight to voicemail. I left a message filled with shaking words, demanding an explanation. No response. I called Daniel next. His phone rang once, then went to Do Not Disturb. My texts? Read, but never answered. That night, I didn't sleep. Memories of every sacrifice I had made for them clawed at my chest. I thought about the countless times they ignored me unless they needed money, advice, or someone to blame. But this was a final, deliberate knife in my back. The next morning, I drove to my parents' house, determined to face them. When I arrived, my mother opened the door with a cold smile I didn't recognize. "Oh, Emily," she said, her voice dripping with condescension. "You really shouldn't have come. Daniel doesn't want you at the wedding. It's his day. Don't make it about you." My jaw dropped. "I gave you $50,000 to make his day perfect. And you're telling me I'm not welcome?" She shrugged. "Money doesn't buy you a place in this family." Those words carved into my soul. My father appeared behind her, silent, arms crossed. Not a shred of guilt in his eyes. I turned to leave, my vision blurred by tears, when my mother added, "Oh, and don't bother trying to talk to Rachel either. She knows everything." Everything? What did that mean? Driving home, my hands shook on the steering wheel. Confusion twisted into rage. I had been loyal, selfless, their safety net, and they discarded me like trash. But as I pulled into my driveway, something shifted inside me. This wasn't just betrayal, it was a declaration of war. I didn't know why they'd turned on me so viciously, but I would find out. And when I did, they would regret underestimating me. That night, while my son slept peacefully, I opened my laptop and began digging. Emails, contracts, bank transfers. If they thought they could erase me and steal my money, they had no idea who they were dealing with. I uncovered the first clue at 2 a.m., a wedding vendor receipt listing Rachel's private spa trip to Maui, paid for using my deposit. My stomach flipped. That was just the beginning. They didn't just betray me. They were using me. As dawn broke, I stared at the rising sun and whispered to myself, "You took everything from me. Now, I'll take everything from you." And that was the moment I vowed this wedding wouldn't happen the way they planned. Not if I had anything to say about it. I didn't wait for them to come to me. I went after the truth with claws out. My name is Emily Carter, and after last night, I am no longer the sister they remember. At dawn, I slipped on a hoodie, grabbed my laptop, and brewed the strongest coffee I could find. My hands trembled, not from fear, but from the storm boiling inside me. Every click of my mouse, Every document I opened felt like pulling threads from a web they never wanted me to see. The first bomb dropped when I accessed the wedding planner's online portal. I wasn't supposed to have access anymore, but I still had my login from when I paid the deposit. My heart pounded as I scanned invoices, guest lists, and private notes. One line made me stop cold. Per Rachel's request, remove Emily Carter from all guest communications. Family advised, do not disclose reason to Emily. Reason? There was a reason they wouldn't tell me? Scrolling deeper, I found emails between Rachel and my mother. Emily doesn't need to know the truth about the money. If she finds out, Daniel will lose everything. My breath caught. What truth? What could be so explosive that they'd rather erase me than risk exposure? I needed more. I drove straight to the florist handling the wedding, one of the few vendors I'd recommended. I walked in like I owned the place because, in a way, I had financed it. Hi, I'm Emily Carter, I said, forcing a smile. I'm Daniel's sister. I just wanted to confirm a few details about the arrangement since I wrote the original check. The florist's eyes softened with recognition. Oh, you're Emily. I'm so sorry about what happened. My pulse raced. What exactly have you heard? She hesitated, biting her lip. Just that there was a family dispute. Something about you and, the money being tied to Daniel's business troubles. I shouldn't say more. Business troubles? My brother had always been reckless with money, but how bad could it be? I thanked her, keeping my voice steady, but inside I was shaking. The pieces were falling into place, and they painted an ugly picture. My brother wasn't just using me, he was hiding something big. Back in my car, I called an old friend, Maya, a journalist with a knack for digging up dirt. She owed me a favor. Maya, I need you to pull everything you can on Daniel's finances, investments, anything recent, I said. She whistled. This sounds juicy. What am I looking for? Fraud. Embezzlement. Anything that explains why he's willing to cut his sister out of his life. By that evening, Maya had sent me files that made my blood run cold. Daniel was drowning in debt, tied to shady deals with investors who were now suing him. The wedding? It wasn't just a celebration. It was a cover-up. A way to secure Rachel's wealthy family's money. If the truth came out, everything would collapse. And they knew I was the only one who could expose it. I stared at the documents, heart pounding. My family wasn't just neglectful, they were complicit. They had silenced me to protect Daniel's secrets, to protect their golden boy at my expense. That night, my phone buzzed with a message from an unknown number. Stay out of this, Emily. You've already lost enough. Don't make it worse for yourself. My stomach twisted. They were threatening me now? Instead of fear, I felt fire. They had no idea who they were messing with. I opened a new folder on my laptop and labeled it Justice. Inside, I saved every email, every receipt, every incriminating file. This wasn't just about money anymore, it was about reclaiming my dignity, my power. As I tucked my son into bed, I kissed his forehead and whispered, Mommy's going to make things right. Because I wasn't just fighting for revenge. I was fighting to show him that no one, no matter how close, had the right to betray us and walk away clean. By midnight, I had my plan. I would attend that wedding, invited or not, and when I did, I would tear down the lies they built, brick by brick. They thought they canceled me. They had no idea. I was just getting started. My name is Emily Carter, and they thought they erased me. What they don't know is that I've turned their silence into a weapon. The week before the wedding, the world around my brother and his bride-to-be still glowed with fake perfection. The venue, an opulent vineyard in Napa, was plastered across social media. Rachel flaunted designer gowns while Daniel posted pictures of success. Every post made my stomach twist, not with jealousy, but with rage. They were celebrating on my dime, and they thought I'd just stay quiet? I didn't send threats. I didn't scream. I planned. Revenge isn't loud. It's a whisper that turns into a storm. First, I leaked a single anonymous tip to one of Maya's contacts about Daniel's shady business deals. Just a teaser. Enough to make investors nervous. Within 24 hours, rumors started swirling online. Is Daniel Carter hiding something? The gossip spread like wildfire, nibbling at his pristine image. Next, I contacted the vendors. I had every receipt, every contract signed under my name. With calm precision, I reminded them who had actually funded the wedding. Some cooperated immediately. Others hesitated, until I mentioned lawsuits. One by one, I pulled strings, shifting details they didn't expect. The flowers? Delivered to the wrong address. The cake? Accidentally delayed. The sound system? Suddenly unavailable, unless they paid again. Each inconvenience was a needle, pricking holes in their perfect balloon. But I wasn't done. I bought myself a dress, sleek, black, and stunning. Not a guest's dress, but one that announced power. Then I secured my entrance, a discreet arrangement with a photographer I'd known for years. He slipped me onto the vendor list. The night before the wedding, my phone buzzed again with that same blocked number. You're making a mistake. Don't show up. I smirked at the screen. They were scared. Good. On the morning of the wedding, I walked through the vineyard's gates like I belonged there, because I did. The air smelled of roses and desperation. Every detail screamed wealth, but underneath, I could feel the cracks I had planted. Rachel spotted me first. Her face went pale. She stormed over, gripping my arm. You weren't invited. Her voice shook, but her eyes were terrified. I leaned close and whispered, Relax, Rachel. I'm just here to watch. Unless, of course, you'd like me to share what I know with your family right here, right now. Her hand trembled as she released me. You wouldn't dare. I smiled. Try me. Daniel approached moments later, his fake smile plastered on for the crowd. Emily, leave. Don't do this. I tilted my head. Do what? Celebrate my brother's big day. Oh, don't worry, Daniel. I won't ruin your wedding yet. He flinched. He knew I had something. He just didn't know how much. As the ceremony began, I sat quietly in the back, my phone in hand. Inside it was everything, the files, the proof, the ticking bomb. My heart pounded with anticipation. When the officiant said, if anyone has reason these two should not be wed, speak now. I didn't move. Not yet. The real destruction would come later, when it would hurt the most. Because this wasn't just about stopping a wedding. It was about making sure the entire world saw who they really were. As they kissed and the crowd erupted in applause, I slipped out unnoticed. They thought they had won. But in reality, I had just lit the fuse. That night, as they toasted under twinkling lights, an email hit every guest's inbox. Anonymous, explosive, undeniable. Attachments, contracts, debts, fraudulent transfers. By the time the champagne glasses clinked, whispers had already begun. The perfect wedding was collapsing from the inside. And I wasn't finished. I am Emily Carter, and this is the day they learned betrayal cuts both ways. The morning after the wedding, my phone wouldn't stop buzzing. Voicemails, texts, emails. Every single one dripped with panic. The bomb I dropped, those emails filled with Daniel's fraud, stolen funds, and illegal dealings, had ignited an inferno. The whispers that started during the reception erupted into full-blown chaos overnight. Rachel's wealthy father withdrew his investment in Daniel's company by sunrise. Their honeymoon flights? Cancelled. The investors Daniel owed? Now circling like sharks. But the best part? The wedding planner, angry that she was dragged into their lies, forwarded my evidence to local authorities. By noon, investigators were already making calls. I sat on my porch with coffee, watching the storm unfold, when my brother finally called. His voice cracked with rage. Emily, what the hell did you do? I let silence stretch before I answered. I did what you tried to do to me, erase you. But unlike you, I didn't need to lie. The truth was enough. You've ruined me, he shouted. No, Daniel, I said softly. You ruined yourself the day you betrayed me. He screamed something incoherent and hung up. An hour later, my parents showed up at my door. My mother's eyes were swollen, my father's face red with anger. How could you do this to your own family? She hissed. I laughed, a bitter, sharp sound. Family? You canceled me like I was nothing. You took my money, lied to me, and threatened me. You stopped being my family the moment you chose to protect his crimes over my loyalty. My father growled, "You'll regret this, Emily." I stepped forward, unflinching.
No.
I regret ever believing you'd protect me, but I've corrected that mistake. They left in silence, their power over me broken forever. Meanwhile, social media exploded. Wedding guests posted videos. Whispers turned into headlines. Daniel Carter exposed. Fraud allegations rock newlywed's fortune. Bride's family cuts ties after scandal. By evening, reporters camped outside Daniel's house. Rachel's engagement ring? Returned. Her family's lawyers? Suing Daniel for deception. The empire they built on lies crumbled in a single day. And I didn't shed a tear. That night, as I tucked my son into bed, he asked, "Mom, are you happy now?" I smiled through the ache in my chest. Yes, baby. Because sometimes doing the right thing hurts, but it's worth it. I walked to my window, staring out at the stars. They had stolen from me, silenced me, and underestimated me. But I rose, and I made them pay. To anyone who's ever been betrayed by the people you love most, remember this. You don't need their approval to reclaim your power. My name is Emily Carter, and I won.